What's going on, guys? Got a knife review, or kind of a re-review of the Chris Reeve knives Small Sebenza 21 with Micarta Inlays here. This is a knife that I kind of threw in with a overall just Chris Reeve knives review, and in that review way back when I included the large 21 with micarta, another small Sebenza with double thumb lugs and blue anodized hardware, and then a Umnumzan, as well as my tie lock. Since then I've sold off, two Umnumzans and or traded them off. I've gotten a Manundi. I traded that off for my Burnley and sold off the small Sebenza and the tie lock, mainly because for my normal EDC uses I thought they were too small and all that kind of stuff, but I just always had kind of a hankering to reacquire a small Sebenza. But then for the time being I got the Three Sisters Forge Beast, and being that it measures in approximately, with the same specifications as the small Sebenza, I thought, this is going to be the one that holds me off. I felt like it's, a more capable blade, S35 VN, same blade materials, full titanium. Got this beautiful water jet patterning. Jim Allen has great customer service and all that kind of stuff. And I love this blade. This is kind of a no-nonsense, hard use blade. Saber and then flat grind here. Again, very capable blade. I've sharpened this one up, I believe to about, man, I can't remember now, around maybe 50 degrees inclusive. Let me check here. Hold on a second. Let's see here. This one is, no, sorry, this is at 44 degrees inclusive. So definitely a much more obtuse angle than the Sebenza, given that that one is, I think that one is at 30, no, I'm sorry, that one is at 34. So you're talking about 34 to, or 44. So that one's 34, and then you kind of taper that one out to 40 to get that convex edge. But this one, yeah, 44 degrees, it still slices totally fine. The one thing about this knife is that there's no real bevel work on here. So you get these kind of hard edges, and it's not necessarily uncomfortable. It's thick enough. It actually feels pretty good. But the one gripe I had for this knife, and I think I could send it in to Jim Allen, I really just haven't bothered to, but I would like to round out this edge here, because when it sits in your pocket like this, my hand tends to rub down or sit down, like go down into the pocket and then kind of rub against this hard edge right here. And it's, it's not sharp like a knife, but it's sharp enough to, dig into your skin or scratch your skin, or it can even cut your skin, not draw blood or anything like that. So not a huge deal, but again, ornamentally, it's just a very simple knife. It's got these little pillars and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, kind of just going on a tangent now. Since getting this knife, I had already gotten rid of my Sebenza, and so I was like, oh man, I don't have a real small knife to compare it to. Because I always say that the large Sebenza is the quintessential, this is the epitome of the folding EDC, or larger folding EDC, large. So if this is the case for a large knife, then why wouldn't that be the case for a small knife? Why wouldn't the small Sebenza be the epitome or the quintessential small knife? So this video really is to kind of compare and do a quick review on this knife, but how it compares and holds up against some of the smaller knives that I have. And again, I don't have too many small knives. I've got some new ones out here that I'm not going to compare them to right now, because I'm going to compare these against these knives when I do the review. This is the Laconico, and this is the CRKT Drifter. So This is a 2.95 inch blade, weighing in at about 3.3 ounces or something like that. Definitely under 4 ounces. Yeah, I'm not going to bother looking up the specifics or anything like that. But, definitely a very lightweight knife, very compact knife. Obviously, full titanium, everything, Micarta Inlays. This one's got the silver studs and silver lanyard pin and all that kind of stuff. Just very, there's just something so aesthetically pleasing about Sebenzas. Chris Reeve gets it right. This year, and in terms of fit and finish and all that kind of stuff. This year, 2012 Blade Show, of course, their company won the Manufacturing Quality Award again. So basically, from 2001 to 2012 minus 1 year. Okay, from 2000 all the way to 2012. So 2002, I don't know what company won it, but they probably shouldn't have won it. But from here to now, they've won the Manufacturing Quality Award, every single year. That's just ridiculous. So it says something about Chris Reeve's company, their tolerances, maybe his analness to make every knife, quality and all that kind of stuff. But, how does it compare to, I'm not going to compare it to the large Sebenza other than size comparison here. It's basically this thing shrunk down to, just slightly smaller. 2.95 inch blade versus a 3.625 inch blade. The beast here is a 3 inch blade. Supposedly, yeah. Almost looks shorter though. And then here I've got my Griptilian, which is also I think a 2.9 or something, right around, or actually it's 2.88 I think, if I remember correctly. This one's got the Wilkins grip. Obviously this has axis lock, so it's hard to compare in terms of locks and all that kind of stuff. I'm definitely a guy that's more partial to frame locks and all that kind of stuff. But just one of the things that stands out about the Small Sebenza, and I think for me in a negative way, this Griptilian with the Wilkins grip. Okay, so I don't know if that's a fair comparison, because Wilkins grips I think are amazing additions to Griptilians, and I've said so much in my review of it. This Wilkins grip is super comfortable, pretty ergonomic. It's got this nice curve here for your hand. I guess you wouldn't really put your finger up here, but I feel like it's just long enough if you're doing a full, forward grip to grasp your hand. Your hand kind of can wrap around all 4 fingers. Reverse grip as well. Sits really perfectly. Your thumb kind of just rests right on the butt of the handle here. So it's pretty good, very comfortable. I think some dude on YouTube did a review of, he did a scoring system or whatever. But anyway, so, and then you have the Beast, which I think is also very comfortable in hand. You get enough real estate on the handle for your whole hand to go around. This is actually really comfortable. There's really no hot spots on this knife. There's no jimping to speak of, but the water jet patterning and all that kind of stuff provides some good grip. Reverse grip is pretty comfortable outside of this hump, but I feel like my first knuckle of my thumb can kind of wrap right around here, where it's not really it doesn't hurt, it's not uncomfortable or anything like that. So again, this provides enough real estate for your hand. Again, keep in mind my hands are moderately sized, not huge. So I'm Asian, so yeah. So let's not go with all the stereotypes, but I kind of I have smaller hands than your average American, I guess. But anyway, the Sebenza, it's small. it's got a pretty thin profile. If you compare the grips here, I don't know if this is a good way to see it here. You do get just a little bit more, you know, on the Griptilian, and definitely more than on the Beast. The Beast, you definitely have more handle kind of leaking out. So, you know, this is really thin, and your hand really wraps around like almost too much. I don't know if that makes sense. So almost too much, where it kind of rolls in your hand. Not to say that it's bad, but it just doesn't feel quite as comfortable. Now, don't get me wrong. Doesn't mean that this wouldn't make for a great EDC. Honestly, I feel like this would be a great woman's knife. You know. And again, don't get me wrong, I love this knife, and I think it's great. It works as a great, you know, small EDC knife, and I don't plan on getting rid of this one at all. But you know, if I had to pick or choose, I would always pick the large Sebenza, you know, for my daily uses and needs, and just wanting to carry a larger knife. If I had to choose between these three, I think I would still pick the Sebenza, just because I like the Sebenza. I like the form factor of the Sebenza and all that kind of stuff. But for any kind of real use, or having, you know, need for cutting and all that kind of stuff, I think I would use the Beast, because I really enjoy this knife, and I feel like it's very ergonomic and all that kind of stuff. So you know, reverse grip, again, I don't know, it's not even so much lengthwise, because lengthwise against the Griptilian, it's pretty much the same. It's really the height of this knife, the thickness of this knife. It's small enough where, I mean, I feel like the knife just rolls in, and it's kind of like pinching my skin a little bit when I grip it down tight. You know, I just feel like I can't get a really comfortable, like, tight grip, you know, on it, because it's always pulling some skin under it and all that kind of stuff as my hand continues to roll. So I don't know if that makes sense at all for you guys, but yeah, that's kind of just the feelings that I've been, you know, when I hold this one tight, it's just locked in. You know, there's no skin rolling under my hand or anything. Same can be said for this, you know. Same for this, you know. So it's not the thickness of the handles, it's the height of the handles, you know, that causes that. Obviously, for, you know, say my Strider, you know, you never get any of that kind of effect in your hand or anything like that. On this Laconico, same thing, you know, it just fits in your hand, because the height of the handle, you know, takes up enough of your palm so it doesn't roll in your hand at all. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. If you guys have more questions on that or whatever, let me know. Again, under normal EDC usages, you probably wouldn't have to, see, it did it again. You probably wouldn't have to grip it like this, okay? Normally you'll be gripping it, you know, in this fashion, and doing, you know, you're cutting through boxes or whatever, and it's going to be fine. That's why as an EDC, I think this is totally fine. But when I talk about just comfort of the knife, you know, I think maybe the Beast and the Griptilian with the Wilkins grip maybe excels a little bit more in that area. Look wise, fashion wise, and all that kind of stuff, Sebenza, I think, blows both of these out of the water. You know, so again, when I talk about EDC, you know, you're carrying a knife that you love and that you want to carry, you want it on you. So if I had to go for a small formal carry and all that kind of stuff, I'm probably going to reach for this one or my Burnley. My Burnley, you know, is definitely, you know, my #1 go-to formal knife. So anyway, so quick thoughts about the Chris Reeve Small Sebenza. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. I don't know if you're gonna blast me out of the water for saying these things about the Small Sebenza. I love, you know, again, let me say I love this knife, but those are just some of the gripes that I do have about it. All right, so thanks guys for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video. All right, take care. Bye.